Hello everyone and welcome to my Tuesday forecast. So let's take a look at the euro and the US dollar. So what I'm seeing right here is I'm seeing that we have this large impulse to downside, and currently I'm waiting to see what will happen here if we will get an opportunity to enter. So there was actually no wick on the last candle, which is a good sign that we will continue to the downside. So if we get an opportunity to enter on a flag, I would definitely be looking for that. So I'll wait for the first bearish candle after we form. So after we form the first high, the first high, first low, second high, and then wait for the first bearish candle. I would also see if maybe we get an ascending structure to the bullet entry point. So that would be at this level. That is definitely something that I am considering currently. So this pair I am seeing is, let's say, trending to the downside. I'm seeing this large impulse. So I would be very happy, as I said, to enter on a bomb trade or on a flag trade. So also I would like to see a break of the low and a nice impulse. Then I would look for a break and a retest trade, so a bullet trade. Also what I would like to see is a nice large impulse and then a flag to enter to the downside. What can happen, so we can get a descending from here, and if we do get this descending, I would look for an impulse to the upside and look for a flag, or maybe look to enter on the bullet level. Also what can happen, so we can get a V reversal at this point, then I would look for a small range, and I would look for an impulse to the upside, then a flag. And because that is a common pattern, so we get the V reversal, small range, push to the upside, then a flag. Also, so what can happen, we can just stay ranging between the low and the high. I know that the euro likes to range for a long time, so that is one of the characteristics, and it is also a possibility. But currently I'm liking this large impulse, and I'm seeing if I can get in on a short trade. So yeah, let's move on to the euro and the Japanese yen. So right here we have the euro and the Japanese yen, and there was a bomb right here. So what I was seeing the break of the low, retrace, break of the low, retrace, break of the high, retrace, break of the high, retrace. So here we formed an ascending structure. Right here, there was an ascending, and I did then see this large impulse to the downside. But to me, because the larger picture is very range bound, so I'm seeing an ascending into a descending into an ascending. I am very careful about looking for any trades, and to me this bomb didn't fit my plan. Maybe I would have taken a combo, but because we got these double wicks and then this bomb and then this bomb, it just didn't look good to me, and it didn't fit my plan, especially when looking at this larger range bound conditions. So it did actually work out, so we did break the low and continue. But what I need to keep in mind is that there are liquidity areas, so below and above, because we have this range, we have this ascending into descending price action. So the price can easily just retrace from here and continue ranging. That is definitely a possibility, because we have now just broken into the lower liquidity area. If we do continue with momentum, I would look for, just a second, I would look for a nice flag, or maybe if we get a push, a pullback, another push, break and a retest, so a bullet trade, I would definitely be looking for that. We can just retrace and stay ranging. If that happens, I will be sitting on my hands, because I'm a trend trader and I want to avoid ranging price action. Also, we can get the V reversal from here, then I would look for a range and an impulse to the upside, look for a flag to the upside. What can happen, so we can create a descending here, because we have reached the liquidity area. Right here we have reached the stops, so we can just be taking out the stops, and then we get a push to the upside, something like this, look for a flag. That is high probability, because we have then reached the liquidity area, taken out stops, and are now ready to reverse the price. Of course, if we get the evidence that we are ready to go to the upside, we can get an ascending from here, and then impulse to downside and the flag. As I said, I will be very careful with this trade, since we are range bound. So yeah, those are some of the possibilities. We can also just stay ranging between the high and the low. That is always a possibility, especially on the euro pairs. But I didn't enter on this bump, it didn't fit my plan, and currently we are, for me personally, very range bound, and I'm very interested to see what will happen once we react to this liquidity area. Do we just push through it with momentum, or do we retrace and continue ranging? So let's now move on to the Aussie and the US dollar. So right here I did enter a trade. Let me take this back. So at this point I was seeing this large momentum to the downside, then I saw this huge wick, so I didn't want to enter on a bullet short trade, which was at this level. Because of the huge wick and this aggressive retrace, it just didn't fit my plan. And then we broke the high, retraced, and got this V reversal. So at this point I was looking to see what will happen next. We got one pausing candle, second pausing candle, and then we got this nice impulse with a clean close. So at this point I was very happy to place a pending order on the bullet level, because I was seeing this momentum. I was seeing only a 2 candle pullback, and I was seeing a continuation of the momentum. And then the price took me in and stopped me out for 1%. So yeah, this was a good trade for me personally, but it is something that I can backtest, because after a V reversal, if we just get a 1 candle break, then this can easily just retrace and create a range. So this is definitely something for me to backtest and to look into, but I'm happy with taking this trade, and it did fit my plan. So that is what is most important. And then we broke the low and retraced. So currently I do classify this as a ranging price action. So we just had this descending, we had this impulse, pullback impulse, then this, I would say, ascending structure or a V reversal. Now we're getting a range. So what I would like to see is a nice big impulse to the upside and the flag. That is definitely something I would like to see, because we know we can get a V, range, and then continuation in the second leg. Also what can happen, so we can just stay, just a second, so we can just stay ranging between the low and the high. What I would also like to see is a nice big impulse to the downside, look for a flag, or a nice big impulse, pull back another impulse, look for a break and a retest. Same thing to the upside, a nice big break, look for a flag, or a nice big impulse, pull back another impulse, look for a break and a retest. What can happen, so we can get more of a descending here, and then I would look for an impulse to the upside, and I would look for a flag or maybe a combo, so a bullet trade. Also we can create an ascending, and if it's a clean ascending, I would look for an impulse to the downside and a flag. That is definitely a play that I would be looking for. But yeah, currently to me this is range bound, so we are seeing a V and we are seeing a range, and as I said earlier, we can get a continuation of the second leg. This is the second leg of the V, so that is very high probability, but we need to see what happens. And so yeah, let's now move on to the last pair. So for the Aussie and the Japanese yen, I was also in a trade right here. So let me take this back at this point. So what I was seeing this descending, breaking the lows, retracing, breaking the lows, retracing, and then I saw the break of the high. Let me take this even further. So let me take this back to this candle. At this point I was seeing a descending and I was seeing the break of the high, but it wasn't enough of a break for me on the Aussie and the Japanese yen. This wasn't enough momentum. I wanted to see it move away more from the most recent high, then I would be interested, but to me this was just not enough. So then we continued, and at this point I was seeing that we are having a descending. So I was seeing this, and I was seeing an impulse to the upside, and I was looking to enter on a trade, so enter on a long trade right here. But what we then actually got is we got one candle pullback and the continuation of the momentum. So to me at this point this was a very high probability setup. I was seeing a descending structure, I was seeing an impulse to the upside, I was seeing a one candle pullback, and I saw the continuation very clean, not really clean, but a good close for me on the Aussie and the Japanese yen. And this was a no-brainer trade for me, so I placed a pending long order at this candle, which then took me in and took me out for 1%. But this was to me just a textbook trade, and really was happy to enter on a long trade right here, but it just didn't play out. So then we broke the low, retraced, and now we are creating a range. So actually what I can expect is that we get more of this ranging price action, since we did break the high retrace with a huge wick, break the low retrace with double wicks. That usually signals to us a range. What I would like to see is a nice big impulse to the upside, look for a flag, or a nice big impulse, pull back another impulse, look for a break and a retest. Also what can happen, we can get a clean ascending structure, then impulse to the downside, look for a flag or a break and a retest. So literally the same thing to the downside. I would like to see a nice impulse and a flag. Also impulse, pull back another impulse, retest of the most recent low, very high probability. Or what can happen, we can get a descending and then look for an impulse to the upside and then look for a long trade, either a flag or maybe a combo trade to the bullet level. So that is definitely something that can happen, or maybe we will just break the high with corrective price action, break the low with corrective price action, and just continue ranging in this area. So that is it for the forecasts. I had 2 trades, both were a loss, but they fit my plans, so I'm very glad to take them. And I'm currently waiting for some momentum and to see some moves in the market. So yeah, see you in the next one.